For every person who gets laid off, 10 others get seriously worried. Are you one of them? Are you thinking, what if I am the next person? In that case, watch this video till the end because I'll tell you exactly what to do in case you are seriously worried about a layoff. If you are a senior professional looking for career growth, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I am posting such videos every week. You should also follow me on LinkedIn because I am posting career growth and job search related content almost every day. You will find link in the description below. If you are looking for the best job in the market, but you are applying to so many jobs, you're not getting callbacks, you're seriously worried about your future and you're not getting a best job in the market, make sure you attend my next live webinar. All right, because in 1.5 hours I give you power packed strategies for your job search. You will find that also link in the description. Now coming back to layoff. See, first of all, you should not panic. Okay? Layoffs are common. If you know, Steve Jobs also got laid off from his own company. Okay? And you got to first understand your employer is not your identity forever. It's a temporary arrangement of value exchange. You give your time, your skills, your knowledge, you work for the organization's benefits and goals. In return, you have that job, you get that salary, you have that position, you have that beautiful office. Okay, it's a temporary arrangement. I really want you to understand the reality. Okay, so even if you get laid off, this is not my wish. I'll tell you exactly what to do. But if you still do, your skills, knowledge, your own personality is with you. Okay, and you got to know how to find the next job. Okay, and that's why I'm asking you to join my next webinar. But I'll also tell you that worrying is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so I'm not saying don't worry. I'm only saying don't worry over. Okay, if you worry over, then actually it's a bad thing for your well being as well. But little worry makes you think again. Are you doing good performance? Are you on track in your career? And that balance of little worry is required actually. Okay, but you have to face and you have to look at it objectively. And now I'll tell you 4 things you got to think about. Okay. The first thing is what's general financial state of your current company and the industry in general. See, you got to understand layoffs. You might think that they happen suddenly. And yes, most of the large companies tell you suddenly one day that layoffs are happening. In smaller companies, sometimes they give you signals. But actually, if you know, generally those signs are already there in the market. For example, the current layoffs happening in startup world in India. Actually, 6 months back itself, a famous Y Combinator accelerator program which funds most of the top entrepreneurs and startups. They had written a formal email to all their entrepreneurs that funding winter is coming. It means that you got to be frugal, you got to work on profitability. You might not get funded for next 12 to 18 months, so make sure your financial plans are well in place. It was happening for last 6 months. There were signs in the startup world at least. Similar to that, every industry goes through ups and downs. You have to find out whether you're in up cycle or down cycle in your industry. Same case is with your company. Is your company facing financial troubles? Revenue is not going up, it is actually coming down, or costs are increasing because other factors, maybe disruption in supply chain, or your raw material costs are increasing, or the manpower costs are increasing. These signs exist in the market, in your company. Sometimes your company might not be very transparent in telling you that, but there might be other signs. For example, Many of the budgets are getting frozen, right? Or new hiring is stopped. Such signs exist when you got to think like, and it doesn't mean that you will get laid off or there will be layoffs happening, but it's a small sign that there will be a financial trouble coming ahead. Okay, so you can plan in advance. That's my only thing. Next thing is, what's general culture of your company, right? See, some companies are transparent. They have standard HR processes like performance management and reviews, management decisions that are communicated properly. But you know what? Most companies are not, and more likely that you are not in one of those companies. But don't worry, it should not be a surprise for you. See, generally, if you are in, if you are in one of those companies who are having standardized processes, layoff will not be a surprise for you. There will be explicit communication to you that your performance is not up to the mark, and that gap is hard to close. It's too much gap. But if you are not in one of those companies, you got to look for signs, mostly from your managers. Okay, you got to look for negative signs. About managers, that point is now coming. Your manager, what that manager thinks and act is your biggest sign. Okay, see, most managers really struggle to give feedback, especially negative feedback. So many times you got to ask yourself, and don't ask, oh, will I get laid off? It's not about it. In your next one-on-one, if you don't have one-on-ones, set up those one-on-ones. Ask your manager. You can ask subtly, right? For example, what do you think about my performance? Is there any particular area I should improve upon? Or am I meeting your expectations? Let me know. I would really appreciate if you can tell me where I'm lacking, what I'm doing good, what should I do next? Are our expectations matching? What do you expect from me? What are my goals? I would like more clarity. Start having such dialogues. Okay. Now, two things can happen. First thing is, manager tells you that the manager and the higher ups are perfectly fine with your performance. You are doing great. So you should not worry. Okay. Because if in case layoffs happen, your manager might be able to save you or at least put a good word for you. If the manager gives you a negative feedback, it doesn't mean you will get laid off. Okay. First thing is, it means that you got to look at yourself, your performance, or whether expectations are matching, whether you are working towards manager's expectations, the goals of the department, or you are lacking skills, or you are just not able to communicate what you do, or you are not getting that communication back from the manager. Negative feedback means that you got to work on yourself and your conditions. You can also ask your co-workers, are they getting similar negative feedback? Is your negative feedback so bad as compared to other co-workers? All these signs are telling you that yes, you need to work on yourself. Again, let me repeat, I'm not telling you when you will get laid off. Okay, there are no signs for this. All I'm telling you is this unnecessary worry you are having that I might get laid off. Instead of worrying, why don't you actually work on and analyzing the situation? So all these points I'm telling you is to analyze your situation, right? I hope you're liking this video. If you got any point which is like spot on and it resonated with you, please comment below. If you have any question, please comment below. I'll be personally answering all your questions. I really want that feedback from my viewers, right? Because I'm just recording this video right now one way. I know some of the viewers because they chat with me constantly, and I have my own community of senior professionals. But the person who is watching on the other side, I would really love your feedback. So make sure you put a feedback comment in the description or in the comments below, or you can ask a question. Now, the next thing you should ask yourself is, what are your personal biases? Means what type of person you are, a pessimist or an optimist? See, optimist person or overly optimist people, they think always, they overestimate things. So they always think great about themselves. And pessimist people always worry little too much, right? They go over the board with worries. Rate yourself on the scale of pessimist and optimist. If you're an optimist, look for those even minor negative signs from your manager, from your co-workers, where your performance is not being met up to expectations. If you're a pessimist, actually look the opposite. Look for positive signs where you're getting appreciation from your managers, or you're doing a great job, your customer is happy, your co-workers are happy, right? You're having great skills. So look for positive signs, because you anyway worry little too much, right? So these are the four things you should first consider instead of worrying. Okay. Now I'll tell you, in case you face the layoff, or you're about to face that layoff, in case, okay, what do? Again, I'm telling you in advance to prepare for it, to mentally prepare for it. So when, in case you face it, because I'm telling you layoffs are common, I'm not wishing it will happen with you, but they are common. Why not prepare for it? What do you do in case you're about to face an layoff, or you do it? You do face that. What can you do to protect yourself? First, plan ahead. Today, you are not having a layoff. What would you do in case you do? Right? Will you change your career completely? Will you go back to, will you go back to school in case college, to learn new skills, to do masters, whatever? Will you do in the same field? Will you stay in the same field, look for a new job in the same field, or you anyway wanted to change your field? Will you upskill yourself? What would you do in case of a layoff? Okay, why not give it a thought? Second is list down your talents and skills. You know your best, right? So it's not enough just to say that, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm a manager, I'm a team lead. Think about what you do for the employer. Your current employer, why is that employer paying you? What do you do for them? What value do you add to them? Write it down. As I told you, identity with your employer is temporary, but what value you can give to other employers is permanent. So in case you get laid off from this employer, you will have the rest of the market if you know your value. Third thing is, you can always look for growth opportunities internally. See, layoffs are targeted. What I mean by that is, generally a particular department, for example, that department is a cost center, or it is not required, or automation has come up, whatever that reason is. They're generally targeted towards a set of departments. What you can do is, make sure you network heavily internally. If you're in a company large enough and there are many departments, and many departments can have people like you're in a functional role, or you can switch between customers inside the organization. Make sure you network a lot. Because what happens in case you get laid off, actually before laying off people, company decides based on not only your performance, but whether they can fit you somewhere else, whether there are internal openings where they can give you a chance. Or in case you get to that discussion, you can always ask, I always thought that department is good for me. And you can always go back to that manager, that department head, right? So check for internal opportunities, growth opportunities. And the last thing is, in case you have to jump, right? In case you have to face the situation, why not be ready to do job search? Make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure you're really active on LinkedIn with a solid profile. Make sure you know what you are there to offer to the organizations. What is your target list of companies? Make sure you have a solid job search strategy in place. Okay. And that's what I teach in my live webinars. So make sure you register for that and learn all those job search skills at the same time so that you're prepared in case layoff happens. All right. So in this video, I told you instead of worrying, and I'm sure your worry will not come true because most of the employees are doing well. In case it happens, in case you're overly worrying, what to do? How should you face this situation objectively? How should you think about layoffs happening in general in the industry objectively? What you should do? I hope you like this video. I hope you learned a lot. Please comment below what you learned. Any question for me? I would really, I love your comments actually. All right. Hope you subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and stay tuned for coming videos.